Connect them with Allah. Use the Quran. I'm surprised at times when people want to connect to Allah and be spiritual and increase their faith, but there's distance between them and the Quran. And I don't mean physical distance, but a distance of the mind. Let them connect through understanding. When I was young, the connection I had with the Quran wasn't a good one. It wasn't positive. The introduction was poorly done. There was this teacher who was the teacher with the whip. And his method was to say, okay, here are these words. We use the book then known as Baghdadi Al-Qaeda. Here are these words. To me, they were just squiggles on a book. You say this, you say this, you say this. Minan, ba, isan, alifun, ba'un. And you have to scream it out loud. So from where I'm sitting as a teacher, I know you are reading. And it didn't make sense to me. I was about 8 or 9 at the time. Why should I scream out loud? Everybody is screaming. Why should I? And so I wouldn't scream out loud, and so he would take the whip to me. And when he beat me, I was a very strong-willed child. I would scowl, then stop reading, then get scolded and beaten again. And we repeat the same thing the next Saturday. So naturally, I grew up not wanting, not caring, not understanding this whole thing. It wasn't until I was in university that I was reintroduced to the Quran. English translation. No Arabic in that particular copy. And a friend said, just read it like a book. And that seemed like so wrong. She said, read it like a book. I said, read which part? She said, open any part and read it. And I started then, and that's what I do today. I open, I read, I seek to understand. Today we have young people who do not connect with the Quran. They can't connect with Allah because they don't understand His words. Even if they speak Arabic, to them the words don't speak to them. That isn't talking to me. So there's a subject that we teach, Quranic Arabic. Right now I don't speak Arabic, but if I listen hard enough to recitation in Arabic and the person slows down a bit, I would be able to get the gist of the verses. Because I read often in English, read the Arabic, go back and read the translation and try and figure out where the words are. Informally, but now we teach it as a formal subject. And we've taught it for a term. And just, I think about 2 weeks ago, I called some of the students and said, you've been doing Quranic Arabic now for a term. Have you learned anything new? They say, yes. Now we wonder what verses mean. When we hear something in Arabic, we start to wonder, what does that mean? And someone said, when someone is reciting, I can actually pick out sometimes just one word. Like, I know that word. It means this. So connect your children with the Quran. Let them read it to you in the language they understand. You can select what you think is appropriate for their age and interests. Something interesting was, I started telling the story of Yusuf to students in school, and I thought, why do it only in school? Go home, tell the story to the children at home. So I did. At a point, I debated, you know that question, am I doing the right thing? Do I even know what I'm doing? I thought, should I go with the copy of the Quran? I like Yusuf Ali translation. Or should I just put the big fat book aside and just tell the story? And I thought, why separate the story from the source? This is how they make positive associations with the thick fat book with the squiggles in it. So I took the book to the room. Then it was just our youngest son who was living with us. So I don't confuse you. My husband has 2 children from a previous marriage. He got divorced. I have one, the youngest, from a previous marriage. I was widowed. So each time I say our youngest was living with us, you don't keep wondering, where did the other 2 go? They were with their mom at the time. So I took the big fat book, and I would read from it, and then break it down to him. I did it for a few nights. Then one night, as I was going to take my big fat book away, he said, Mama, leave it. I said, you'll read it? He said, yes, Mama. So I opened to Surah to Yusuf, opened to where we stopped, and I went away thinking, I wonder what will happen. By the following day, I said, where did you stop? He could actually say, well, I stopped where so and so happened. And I brought it back, and he read it again from the big fat book with a tiny print. At that time, he was only about 8 years old. So sometimes when you think they are too young, you are the one who is looking at them as too young.